The House with the Secret Basement Prison. Part 8. Something is climbing. Tom heard the basement explode open. The sound was not like wood breaking. It was deeper, like something had pushed upward through layers that were never meant to move. The floor beneath him cracked. A long split ran across the hallway, straight through the kitchen and into the living room. Dust burst into the air. Tom grabbed the wall to steady himself as the house shifted. Below him, something massive was moving. Not walking, not crawling. For a moment, it felt like the ground itself was trying to turn over. Then came the sound. A low, grinding pressure. Bone against stone. Flesh dragging across concrete. Tom stepped back as the crack widened. The wood floor bent upward, then dropped. A section of the kitchen collapsed inward, revealing the darkness below. The basement was gone, or at least the part he understood. What lay beneath it was deeper, far deeper. Tom moved closer, just enough to see. The flashlight on his phone shook in his hand as he pointed it down. The beam did not reach the bottom. It only caught movement, shapes shifting, bodies pressed together. The creatures were gathering, dozens of them, maybe more. They crawled over each other, pushing toward the opening. Their movements were frantic, but not panicked, excited, hungry. No, not hungry, eager, like animals that had been waiting for something. One of them looked up at Tom. Its mouth split wide, too wide. It smiled. Coming, it whispered. Then it turned and began climbing down instead of up. Others followed. They were not escaping. They were returning. Tom felt something cold settle in his chest. "They're going back," he said out loud. No one answered, but he understood. Whatever was below them was more important than getting out. More important than him. The floor shifted again. A deep rumble rolled through the house. Then came the roar. It shook the walls. It was not loud in the way a scream is loud. It was heavy. Like the sound had weight. Like it was pushing against his body. Tom staggered backward. His ears rang. The creatures froze for a moment. Then they moved faster, climbing down into the darkness, reaching, stretching. Some of them began to laugh. High, broken sounds. Others made noises like crying. But none of them tried to leave. They all wanted to go down. Tom stepped closer to the edge again. He should have run. Every part of him knew that. Instead, he looked because whatever was down there had already started coming up. At first, he saw nothing, just darkness. Then something shifted in the black. Not a shape, a surface. Something large enough that it did not look like a body. It looked like the ground itself was moving. Then the light caught it. Flesh, gray, thick, layered over itself like folds that had never been separated. It pressed upward slowly, the edges of it dragging against the broken concrete. Then something opened, an eye, but not shaped right. Too wide, too flat. It rolled slowly until it faced the light. Tom froze. The eye did not blink, it only watched. Then another part of the mass moved. A line split open, a mouth. It stretched wider and wider. Rows of teeth pushed outward as if they had been packed too tightly inside. The mouth opened and released a sound that did not belong in a human throat. It was the same roar, only closer now. Tom stumbled back. "No," he said under his breath. The thing kept climbing. The creatures reached it, one by one. They pressed themselves against it. Some of them climbed onto its surface. Others pushed their faces into its flesh, like they were trying to disappear into it. And the thing led them. The flesh shifted, opened, accepted them. Tom felt his stomach turn. "They're feeding it," he said. But even as he said it, he knew that was wrong. It was not eating them. It was taking them back, reclaiming them. More of the mass pushed upward. The opening in the floor widened as the structure gave way. Boards snapped, nails tore loose. The walls cracked. The entire house groaned under the pressure. Tom backed into the hallway. Every instinct screamed at him to run. But the front door was too far, and the thing was still coming up. A thick limb forced its way through the broken floor. Not an arm, not exactly, but something that could reach. It dragged itself forward, leaving behind a trail of dark fluid that soaked into the wood. The smell hit him next. Rot, wet earth, old blood, something ancient. Something that had been sealed away for too long. Tom covered his mouth. The creatures continued their descent. None of them looked at him anymore. He was no longer important. The thing was here, and they were going home. Another section of the floor collapsed. The kitchen table slid toward the opening and tipped in. It vanished into the darkness below. The sound of it breaking echoed up through the hole, then stopped, like it had been absorbed. Tom looked around. The house was not going to hold. Not for much longer. The walls were splitting. The ceiling above him cracked. Dust rained down. The sound of the creature filled everything now. Movement, breathing, weight shifting against the structure. Tom felt something inside him settle. A decision. If that thing reached the surface, it would not stop. It would not stay in the house. It would spread. The town, the streets, everything above it. He thought about the neighbor, the quiet street, the people who had no idea what was under their feet. Then he looked back at the opening. The mass had risen higher. More of it was visible now. More eyes, more mouths. All moving slowly, all aware. Tom turned, ran toward the garage. He knew what he had to do. Behind him, the creature continued to climb, and the house began to sink around it. Stay tuned for part 9.